I'm the Curious Sage, Dwayne Grove, bringing you the amazing and transformative power and value of human connection. Now, I'll warn you in advance that this particular video may run a lot longer than my normal ones. But I've had a lot on my mind lately, and in the midst of all of this chaos, there comes some really clear messages. And those messages are coming to us not only in the stars and the transits that we've seen since way back in December, but also because of just some of the sense that I have, the messages that Spirit's been bringing to me. I have to tell you that I am incredibly excited and full of hope in this period that we're in. And that hope and excitement is grounded in an understanding that the Mayan calendar, when it ended in 2012, was really the end of an era. It was the end of the age of Pisces. And we truly started to move slowly but surely into the age of Aquarius. And if you understand the age of Aquarius, you understand it is an age of enlightenment. It is an age of transformation. With all great transformations comes destruction. And for many who believe that at some point we're going to return to life as normal, my message to you is there is no normal. When this pandemic is over, and it will be, the earth will have been transformed. And it is a great opportunity for each and every individual, as well as the collective, to make some fundamental changes in their attitudes and their actions around dealing with each other and how we deal with Mother Earth. One of the things that people know me very well, know that I have a very eclectic group of friends and relationships. There are people in my circle that would probably consider themselves very far left, and there are some that would consider themselves very far right. And over the course of the last 8 to 10 years, what we have seen is this growing division between people on the left and the right. In the United States here, that would be really played out in terms of people that are all in for Democrats or all in for Republicans. And it's unfortunate but true that I have people that I know, some of which I'm very close to, that if it was Joseph Stalin that was on the Democratic ticket, knowing everything that we know about Joseph Stalin, people would still find a way to justify voting for somebody like that because that person just wasn't Trump. On the other hand, I know people who are so invested in the current administration that no matter what this president would do, they would find a way to make it morally correct. That whatever gets said about him or any investigations, that it was all a witch hunt, that it was all a hoax. And we've heard all those words. So people at these polar ends have been at each other's throats now, not just since the U.S. had its last election, but it goes back even further. I think if you look back to 2012, when the Mayan calendar ended, you would see the seeds of this incredibly deep and vulgar and hateful divisiveness having taken root. So these forces are a necessary but unfortunate part of what the destruction that is coming and we're experiencing. The necessary destruction in order for us to actually move more directly into the age of Aquarius. And I challenge those of you who are my dear friends on either end of that spectrum to utilize this time as we're all kind of holed up in our homes and do some self-examination. Is it true that people on one side of the aisle or the other are just absolutely false, are nuts, are lying? I think it's time for us to deeply examine where we have given our power and take that power back. Those that choose to be politicians, from my own personal perspective, are all lying. And it matters not what label they have. The only thing they ultimately care about, at least most of them, is their own power. And who has given them that power? We say they are elected officials, but yet they're in there forever and ever and ever. And they will tell us anything they need to tell us in order to keep that power. And let that sink in for a moment. Then there's the media. Especially in this time of great chaos, who can you believe? I know people that will only look at one station or one media outlet over another, and I can tell you from my perspective, they're all misleading us. There isn't a single news outlet available anymore where you can just simply get information, because every bit of information comes with an opinion, and people are trying to tell you how you should feel, how you should behave. They try to tell you who you should be voting for. Well, quite frankly, I haven't voted in probably the last 25, 30 years. And the reason is that I don't believe the system works in the way that it was originally intended to work. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. The other thing is that what's very curious right now is that as this pandemic really started to burst open here in the United States, the north and south nodes were at the same exact locations as they were on 9/11. 9/11 for the United States especially was a major shock. It got people to stop for a moment and think about what mattered in their life. With so many people killed in those terrorist incidents, it brought the people together for a short period of time. People rallied around each other and held each other tightly. The value of human life was suddenly important again. But the United States, in my opinion, missed the opportunity. Instead of responding in a proportionate way, we went all in. We had to, exert our power. And 18 years later, we're still trying to exert our power as we're trying to slowly get out of the morass that is Afghanistan. What's worse is that we were all deceived into believing that Iraq was the next major issue. And we're still in Iraq. America didn't learn its lesson from 9/11. And now in this pandemic, if you look at the astrology alone, all of this Capricorn energy that we've been living through is just really bringing to bear the need to change. And that change has got to start inside each and every one of us. We have to quit hating each other because of a political perspective or a color of skin or a sexual orientation. We have to realize that community and family is what matters most. And if we are truly to enter the age of Aquarius and the promises that that age offers to us, It has to start with a change in our hearts. It has to start with a change in our actions. If you think for a moment that a politician in Washington, D.C. is going to have all the answers, then I'm sorry, you have given your power to somebody who really doesn't give a shit about you, no matter what they say. Because what they say will only pander to you long enough to keep them in power. Power belongs to each and every one of us. And it's not the power to vote, it's the power to take action in our daily lives. It's the power that says I don't have to post something hateful or ugly or vulgar because I don't agree with somebody. It's the power to see the value and beauty of each and every individual. And guess what? We are called to that power now on a global level. And that is what the Age of Aquarius is calling us to. It's really important in this time where we have a lot of time sitting in our homes being personally reflective, to really go deep and re-examine what's in your heart. There are those who will come through this period of transformation and they will have been changed forever in a much more beautiful and loving way. There are others who are going to want to try and go back to life as normal. And I have news for you. It's not ever going back to the way it was. And if you think a change in the guy or gal that's in the White House is going to make all the difference in the world, then I'm sorry. You've put your faith in the wrong place. And so take the opportunity now to find love and peace and happiness in your heart. And realize that as a global community, we are all together in one energy, in one connection as a human spirit. And if you choose in this moment to try and blame somebody else, to try and make it about those folks on that side of the aisle or those folks on that side of the aisle, then you're going to end up living the rest of your life in utter conflict. You see, we need light. Where there is no light, there is no life. When we plant the seeds that we're planting right now in the ground, we have to shed the light of love on those seeds if we hope to have a rich harvest in the future. And hate and anger and blame just keeps the darkness in place. It's only love that will ultimately bring the warmth and will bring the nourishment and will bring the energy that's needed to grow through this. So I challenge each and every one of you as I challenge myself to be reflective in this time and to realize that we are being called to something much greater than ourselves. Take this opportunity to pick up the phone or knock on a neighbor's door and check on them. Take this opportunity to find ways to express your love and not your hate. And while social media and the internet is a beautiful thing and it brings so much to our lives, it can also be used as a weapon of misinformation, of deceit, of lies. And so one of the things I just want to share with you in this video is that if anybody, whether it's one of you that I'm directly friends with, or if you're reposting somebody else's junk, if it has anything to do with this pandemic or anything to do with politics, I immediately hide it. I don't want that garbage in my soul. Because as humans, we're almost like, the dog that's chasing the fire truck. If we see the truck running down the street and the siren's blazing, we go running after it. And then we look up finally and we realize, oh my God, I'm way down in the shithole. Right? Because there's just so much opportunity in the media, and especially social media today, to continue to spin hate and fear. And all that does is it continues to create the division that we've been seeing since the very beginning of the Age of Aquarius in 2012. And if we all want to hope for a brighter future, we all want to hope for greater love and peace and harmony and joy, it has to start inside ourselves. And if you choose not to do that, then you are choosing by your actions to continue to live in a world of hate. You will be bombarded continuously by fear, and you will not find the peace and harmony and joy that you so much say that you want. We're not here to be haters. We're not here to be in fear. We are here to love one another. And so I challenge you as my dear brothers and sisters, my soul brothers and sisters, to think twice and to challenge yourself to find ways to spread love and support, not only for yourself and those that you love most dear to you, but to our entire communities and our nation and our world. And if we all do our part, in the end, we will find the Age of Aquarius to be the age that is transformative. And the world we find on the other side will be so much more beautiful than we can even imagine today.